You seem hungry. Good thing your table is ready with Saturday Omaha.
Saturday Omaha.
Eat this.
Hey, this is Dave with Saturday Omaha, and I am here on another of our awesome episode of Food Recognized Food series, where we talk to people in and around the restaurant industry about all things food. And I'm very fortunate to be sitting in the KIOS studios with Chef Jamil Bah-Traore of House of Bah and the House of Bah Foundation. Chef, how are you doing?
I'm doing incredible. It's an honor to be here with you, David. I'm doing fantastic.
Thank you so much. And, what's so neat is you and I sort of connected in a different way via another chef in town, Chef Wilson of Le Voltaire. I was working on an article for him, and you had some very kind words to say. And I believe he had some very kind words to say about you as well. So it's kind of neat to actually meet you in person.
Mm.
I have not been fortunate enough yet to try your food. And I love all things food. I believe you're from Togo originally, correct?
That is correct. I'm from Togo.
Awesome. So the only connection I have yet to that food is the wonderful chef Nina Soji of Okra. She was on the show. Mm-hmm. She's so awesome, and I love her food. Yes. And curious to get to know more about your food. But let's start with House of Bah. What you do and a little bit about your food. Tell me a little bit about it.
So, as you mentioned, I'm from Togo. I want to clarify that I was born there, but my folks are from Mali.
Okay.
Yes, so I just want to make that distinction, because when you see the last name Bah-Traore, people might just get a bit confused. But I'm a Togolese, that's what I claim. So, House of Bah, I have a couple of things going on. I have a House of Bah Food Group and House of Bah Foundation.
Yes.
But the first one that I started with was House of Bah Food Group, obviously. Okay. And the particularity about me, David, is that my food is about 90% based on African culture, African flavor, African spice.
Yeah.
And then the rest of 10% is just going around the world. I believe in fusion. I believe in bringing us together, because food is food.
Yes.
We all cook the same thing, it's just different way. You know? So I've been, since leaving the industry, I've been just doing this catering and going about just change the way people view West African cuisine in general.
Yes.
Because that's where I'm from. Also, by extension, the whole African continent food. Because I think it's important that people open their mind when it comes to culturally affirming cuisine like African food, right?
Yeah.
So I was on that journey, and then I realized I need to do more than just be somebody that cook food and serve it to people. That's what led me to why I am here today at the House of Bah Foundation. It was previously called Eat and Talk Africa, but we just switched the name recently because we wanted to go abroad and then help everybody else. Because although the initial idea behind was to expose people and change the narrative about African cuisine, we realized that it's not just about African cuisine that is not well known in Omaha, Nebraska, in the Midwest or America. It's more so about new cuisine. By that I mean refugee, immigrant cuisine. So with the House of Bah Foundation, we focus on mainly two things. One is anybody that's a new American, anybody that's displaced, anybody that's just settling here in America. And we just want to make sure that folks, for Omaha being foodie town, people know about it. And also the other thing is African cuisine.
I love it. Can you describe Togolese food a little bit from your perspective? Maybe some of the common spices used, or some things that might give it its uniqueness.
So I won't even call it Togolese food per se. I will just call it West African food.
Perfect.
Because Africa has 5 culinary regions.
Awesome.
You have the north part with all the Maghrebian countries. Mm-hmm. You have the west part with all that coastal from Senegal all the way to Cameroon.
Yeah.
You have the corner of the Horn of Africa with the East Africa almost kind of like, and you have a central with the Gabon, and you have south. Not South Africa, but southern part of Africa.
Yeah.
Right? And you can even add almost southeast with the Mozambique, because there's different kind of influence. So if I were to just say Togo, it would just make it look like it's just because it's just Togo.
Ah, I see.
Across the whole West Coast, the food is very similar, David.
Ah, okay.
It's just the name that changed.
I see.
And also, it's just mainly what is the uniqueness is the spices. People here relate that to curry. Mm-hmm. Curry is nothing but really a blend of spices.
Right.
So every household have their own curry.
Their own blend,
Right?
yeah.
Almost like every person in the family, your mother can teach you something, but the kid will just go and all of them will just have something different, right?
Sure.
The beauty about African food is just that spice. It changes also with what you have. Africa, we are folks that cook with what we have, right?
Sure.
And that's really what it is right here too. Even any farmer right here, you cook what you have. If you do scratch cooking, if you do something that's organic cooking, it's just what you have that makes the difference. So that's the main thing. Otherwise, on the West Coast, you have a lot of protein because we are lucky enough to have a coast.
Right.
So fish, a lot of legume, a lot of game animal, for people that can hunt and stuff like that. You have also a lot of tuber roots, and rice, believe it or not, corn is a staple, huge staple. Because we don't eat it as a tortilla, but as a cornmeal. And that's what goes with the sauces, the diversions that we do, right? Of course, fufu, as you know, right now. You can use cassava to make it. We can use yam to make it. So it's a very diverse food.
Yeah.
You see that similarity between Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, like I said, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Liberia, Sierra Leone, all those. Now, when you go a little north, like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, that's where you see a little differences.
Ah, okay.
In name,
Yeah.
but also in what makes what.
Ah.
Like one thing I can just tell you that it's like if you go to Mali, you say mafe, that is a peanut butter sauce.
Oh, okay.
If you come to Togo in my mother's region, you say mafe, it's a tomato sauce.
Oh, so very
without
different.
the peanut butter sauce.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's kind of the beauty of West African food or Togolese food, if you want to call it.
And you said so you have family from Mali as well.
Yes. My folks actually left Mali, just coming down to and they're still in Togo. That's
Okay.
where my father was born.
Yeah.
And that's where I was born, and that's where I grew up. And funny thing about me, if I may share this, is that
Please.
what led me to cooking is really my mother.
Wonderful.
And also it's because, Africa is a very patriarchal society back then.
Sure.
So each a little bit now, So I did get a couple of slaps when I was in the kitchen, because my dad didn't like it. He's like, what are you doing there, But story goes that my great-grandfather was chauffeur/chef for the German
oh, wow.
when they were colonizing Togo.
Okay.
After World War I, when the French took over, he was also chauffeur/chef for them.
Wow.
So he was very well known to be the exception.
Yeah.
And even from what I was told when he was younger, he was always interested into making his own food.
Yeah.
So that really led him to go and do that.
Wow.
So he made it a point to teach all his male kids the art of cooking.
Wow. So he's kind of breaking the tradition, breaking the rules a little bit.
He broke the rule very, very early, way earlier in our community.
Yeah.
So that's why my mom also made the point that I learned how to cook.
Ah, I see.
You see what I mean? That's how she introduced me to that.
Yeah.
But I only found about this when I started just saying that this was something I want to do. Or actually, when I was back home, what I remember, David, is that my mom, maybe at 13, 14 years of age, folks will come like a friend, and she'd be up to me, just go make us, some fufu and then egusi soup.
Yeah.
And her friend would be like, what are you talking about? You mean you sending your son to go do? And she'd be like, just wait. And then proudly I will go, and then this was just like odd for them because then you have the mortar, stone where you have to grind things.
Yeah.
You see me and I'll do all that and make the food, and then pretending they'll be looking at me like, what's going on, Sahada? Bless her soul, And then she just like beaming with pride because, I made this food, and all these ladies will be like, oh my God, can my daughter marry him? Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
So that's how I started.
That's awesome.
And that's what led me to here. And then finally, it became something that I realized that it's more than a passion. It's just in the blood,
Yeah. If you can recall back, what was the first thing you really remember cooking or putting together like that?
I think the first thing that I learned how to cook was what we call the cornmeal.
Oh, okay.
So fufu, you can say, but fufu is made with yam, right?
Right.
But the cornmeal, we use corn flour masa, which folks use in Latin America to make tortilla.
Right.
We use that to make a meal. So we make a meal out of it, and then we eat it with some kind of sauce, right?
Gotcha.
So that's the first thing. It's an art because you have to have your cast iron,
Yeah.
and calabash or pa, and then you have this wooden spoon that you use to mix it.
Yeah.
So because the cast iron is on this coal, when you beat the bottom of it, it's gonna just keep expanding, because it's kind of like you put in iron in the fire.
Yeah.
So I made a couple of mistakes because my mom would turn this the pot, and the pot will have like this pointy area at the bottom of it, because I kept just going
hitting it
hitting at the bottom instead of heating.
And she's like, you're destroying my pan.
It's like you're supposed to mix it up, you're not supposed to hit the bottom. So that's kind of what I learned first, because that's the main staple food.
Got you.
And then rice comes, and then fufu comes. So that, and then just making okra soup, and then you eat that with okra soup. That's the first thing that I learned. And as far as the meal wise, but I think if anything that led to that was probably just me grinding like ingredients on the stone.
Wow.
Whether it's like pepper, tomato, because back then you don't have a mixer, you have a blender, right? You just got to put it and grind it to turn it into the liquid that you want.
I've had some fufu, and I learned that I was also eating it wrong first, because I would like take a bite of fufu and then something else. Like, no, you're supposed to grab it and like use it as a utensil. It picks stuff up with it. So I love learning things like that. It's tasty regardless, so it doesn't matter. And then for the cornmeal, is there a specific dish name or anything, or is it just hey, we're going to use this in other things?
You have akume. Akume is like in southern part.
Okay.
Mutu, which is like in my native language. You know? So that's the same thing as satsa in South Africa.
Yeah.
The same thing as ugali in Kenya, black ali in Ivory Coast, or banku in Ghana. So see how it's changing.
Yeah.
But it's just the same
similar
meal.
dish, different name. And
different name.
Does Togo have its own jollof rice?
Oh, my!
I hear it's quite a contentious subject, depending on where jollof rice came from and how you make it and what's in it. I have a friend from Cameroon, and she has her opinions on how it should be. And so I'm just curious, what are your opinions on jollof rice?
You asked me, David. That's what I like to say, that was African. I generalize, because I don't want to fall into the debate of which one is the best, which country. Yeah. And really, as a cook, it depends. Some days you can make a great dish. Some days you can be off. So, West Africa has, of course, also two parts: the French ex-colony and the British ex-colony as well. So, within the French, you see that Togolese would say we're the best at cooking. Ivory Coast folks would say the same. Senegal would say the same.
Sure, you should be proud of your food.
Yeah. And within the British colony, ex-colony, shall I say, you have Ghanaian would say something, Nigerian folks would say something, Sierra Leone, Liberia. So really, all food is great. All these countries have great jollof. We all can share that pride. There's no point of saying this one is better than this one. Food is food.
Yeah, food is food. Is it good? Okay, eat it.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. That's what it is.
Coming from Togo to the U.S., roughly about when did you get here, and how did your love of cooking at home with mom and things like that turn into a passion here?
So I got here in 2003.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I studied accounting back home. When I came here, I went to Bellevue University.
Yeah.
And that's where I got a degree in business administration and with a minor in accounting. Then after that, I worked in the corporate world. I worked for Citibank, PayPal, AT&T, just doing
the corporate
thing.
Yeah.
And all along, the only thing that will keep me grounded was cooking. Just, relieve my stress or anything like that. I would just come home, and then I would just start cooking at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then by 6 o'clock, I have like 6-7 dishes,
That's awesome.
And I kept doing that. And then, and then also it was a way for me to cope with my mom, passing away. So,
oh goodness,
2011-ish, and then I started just asking myself, like, what is that one thing that I want to do when I'm 90 years old? So, and then I could just do that without having any worry, any issue, anything like that,
Yeah, where's your heart at?
Well, where's my heart at, you know what I mean? And then it was also a tough time, 2009, 2010, 2011 was a tough time for me as an immigrant here, still trying to sell it in Omaha, Nebraska, or in the U.S. period, with having to go to immigration loophole and stuff like that.
Sure.
But that's where Chef Pepin comes in, really. That's when I started watching the show. That's when I started reading his books. The Apprentice mainly was like a huge thing in my life for me. And then I was just like, I need to find out what I really want. I need this thing's calling me, and I need to really, really figure out what I want. And I was thinking about going to New York or Chicago or LA if I were to go to culinary school.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that right here in our backyard there was a MCC.
Yeah.
So I found that out, and then I went to Metro, and then I got my culinary art degree. From there, I worked in some catering company, did a stint at Dante, and then I worked
with Nick Straubecker
yeah, with
out
Nick,
there?
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, Nick, yeah, that So
Yeah.
I did that while I was going to school as well, and then that was a good memory because I was really dedicated. It wasn't easy, David, to be honest with you, but this is what cooking became my way out, my way of just closing out everything.
Yeah.
And just staying in the present, staying in the moment, and just like no matter what happened here, whether I stay in this country or whether I leave this country, I can take this with me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I've worked three hotels actually, two Marriott and one Hilton in Omaha.
Yeah.
And that's what really also led to another version of me realizing that, okay, this is great, everything's well. Omaha's booming with restaurants, but I'm seeing a void in this. I don't see a lot of culturally affirming cuisine.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of, new faces, new American cuisine in this field.
Yeah.
So it has to make it also. And I realize that people don't know much. There's this wall when you say African cuisine, when you say somebody is from Syria, Ukraine, or something. It's like, what is their cuisine, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to do something about it. For me, it's like, how can I introduce that into the field? How can I make sure that people discover this food, they realize that it's just amazing food, the flavor and everything, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if we have, Indian food, if you have Latin food, if you have all those cuisine that we're kind of trying to know, why is it that was what I was thinking about back then? Because why is it that this country, with the history that it has with Africa, does not offer something like that?
Right.
So let me try to, put that in the market by just doing my catering. Then I thought to myself, you know what? It's got to be more than that.
Ooh.
I could be in the corner somewhere doing it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't just have an effect right away that I want. I want to see more of me.
I
want to see more Jamil, more Nina, more Shaima, right?
Yeah.
So I need to teach this.
Yes.
And then that's what led me to found House of Bah Foundation.
The foundation.
That's what led me to say, you know what? I need to be able to have a structure, a format, something where I can teach this.
Yeah.
Because what I see threefold. One, teach the community around, the whole Omaha community about those cultural affirming cuisine.
Yeah.
Two, teach anybody, youth or old, who want to learn this cuisine as well. And then we can do have a small entrepreneur business, a small caterer here and there and stuff like that. And also teach the people that are in the industry. So if all this converge, 2-3 years down the road, you have people that know the cuisine that can offer it.
Mm-hmm.
You have the community that knows the cuisine and wants the cuisine, and then we can have more diversity in the food offering.
Absolutely.
So this is the full circle. So that's in a nutshell how I went from corporate to going to Houston and getting my master's in hospitality hotel management, because I was then ready to go back home and go teach.
Oh, okay.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Then I had it in your heart. I was like, I have to start right here.
Wow.
This is what happened, and so since then we've had a couple programs that we focus on mainly. One is called Immigrant Culinary Integration Program.
Okay.
Where it's for new American. Anybody that is new to the U.S., hasn't been here for less than 5 years, and who has aspiration to be in this field but can find themselves. Right? Because I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm a live experience of this, right? So I want to be able to give them something, meet them where they are, and get them to learn this and then see what they can do with it. Right?
I love it.
So the last class that we had was ladies. Imagine it not, we had 10 ladies, right? From Venezuela, from Sudan, from Iraq, from Ukraine.
Wow.
And we brought everybody together. And I think about 80%, I would say, were fairly in the country less than a year.
Wow. Yeah.
And then one of the classmates had the first experience with the mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, I used to see this on, just in commercial in my country because they make pizza out of it. And she never had a mushroom.
Oh, never had a mushroom,
never
ever.
had a mushroom. And then that's really the beauty of our program, because I want, as much as I want people from America to discover this cuisine, I want people also that are new American to discover that there is things here that you can also utilize.
Yes.
There is things here that you can also feed your kid, because we have family that are stuck in this revolving door where they feel like I can only eat what I know. I don't know this food. Mm-hmm. In my family, they say that I cannot eat this new American food. I just don't know what I know. We need to foster connection between them. That's one of the things that we want to do, right? And the second program, the African Culinary Academy, focus solely on African food.
Awesome.
Right, to teach that to youth, the community, and then get them also to introduce those two cuisine in the hospitality field.
Gotcha. Now, is that section part of the foundation then too? Okay, so,
Yes.
so you have a few different angles there.
Yes, what I just told you right now are strictly foundation.
Gotcha.
You know, and this is what draw Jacques Pepin Foundation attention, and this is what they decide to fund.
I'm glad you helped me out there. So
Yes.
earlier in our conversation, you had said that you had watched Jacques Pepin cooking early on. It was kind of an inspiration to you.
Yes.
And of course, Jacques Pepin, awesome celebrity chef, got a start in the U.S. cooking at Howard Johnson's
Yes.
hotel chain here,
Yes.
I believe. And of course, a good friend of Julia Childs,
Yes.
kind of bringing French cooking to everybody's home.
Yes.
And so one of the reasons that we got connected here, an honor has been bestowed on you and the foundation. Tell me about that and Jacques Pepin and what has happened again in Omaha here that is awesome.
So Jacques Pepin Foundation, as a chef, just like you said, is a well-known chef. He decides to help promote that love of culinary, and then they, out of all the applications they've had in the U.S., they only fund 10 organizations.
Oh my goodness.
And then we are one of the organizations, the 10 organizations that they decided to offer a grant to support the work that we do in Omaha, Nebraska, to
Wonderful.
continue our mission, which is to get those cultural African cuisine to be well known in the community and to foster connection using food as the catalyst, of course, and also to create that job and economic development. To just put everything back in the community. So the Jacques Pepin Foundation, it really want to foster that growth on the culinary side, right? Because as you know, food is everything that help to. It's like an engine that get the engine the entire country going.
Yeah.
So this grant is going to help us really continue our programming, and then this grant is an honor because for us to be in Omaha, Nebraska, not that we don't. People usually think Omaha is just like somewhere in the heart of the country or somewhere where, they don't even know much about us,
They
right?
don't pay attention to us all the time.
But for Jacques Pepin Foundation to look at what we're doing here in Omaha, Nebraska, and then for them to decide that, we want to support this, it's a huge deal. And also for me, it's a full circle event. Reading his books really what gave me a light,
Yes.
sound like I needed in that moment. That's
Yes.
really, really what was comforting me and then giving me the hope that, this is the path you want to go on. And then getting that today is a huge honor.
Part of the reason that you were considered or given this grant was the workforce development piece. Talk to me a little bit about how the workforce development piece happens and also how you adapt to all the different places and stories that these people are coming from.
Just like, when you are a new American here, you are sometimes lost. You can't find your bearing. Like you ask yourself, what can I do? And most of those people that come here, they have talent, they have skills, that they have jobs that they were doing back home.
Yeah.
But when they get here, they don't know what to do. And often in the settlement process, they end up just working on in factories and, meat packing. I hate to say it, but it's not like we're saying that those are not jobs. But
Sure.
I just want somebody to do what their passion.
Maybe it's a job, but not a career, not a
career,
passion.
Exactly,
Yes,
not a passion.
yes.
And because I've been there, So one of the particular things that we do with our programming is that it's not just teaching them the culinary skills, but it's also like a workforce training, right?
Yeah.
And then we are intentional about giving them skills that they can take right away to work for somebody in a restaurant or work for a catering company or actually create their own business if they want to.
Yeah.
Because we expose them to so many things within the training. They get the chef certificate. We give them all the skills that they need to be able to understand the hospitality business.
Yeah.
Because it's new to them being an American,
Sure.
being a new American. So that translates into people just being able to ready to get into the workforce. And what we also do is that we pair them with other organizations that have like extended program that they can go through. Some then also express the desire to go to Metropolitan Community College.
Yeah.
Some express the desire to just work in or have their own business. So as a new American, while they come here and they're lost, they don't know what to do, this program gives them a leg up. It meet them where they are and then give them a guidance on what they can do also to fulfill this dream of just working the hospitality business, right?
Yeah.
So it's better than just doing something that is just a job but not a career.
Yeah.
So that's one of the particular things that we do, and it's because of that connection between our program and getting people ready to get into the job market that led the foundation to give us this grant. The beauty about our program is that even though sometimes the language can be a barrier, once we start cooking, it's just like the language of food.
Oh, I love this.
Right?
Yeah.
We've seen bond happening during our classes. We've seen people from, an example, there was people from Syria and people from Ukraine that bonded because they both share a common foe, if we might talk about it that way, because of the Russian thing. Because those folks were displaced because of the war and that happened in the country. And both of them see Russia as an invader that is causing this war. So when they came to this class, they just bonded just naturally, organically. And then we see people from Venezuela sharing food with people from Sudan and saying, "Oh my God, this looks like something that we do here in our country."
Yeah.
And then this looks like a similar thing. And the beauty of the program also is that we take this and then we showcase that. We prove a concept that culturally affirming cuisine can work.
Yes.
The last capsule that we did was at the Le Voltaire restaurant at my buddy's Wilson restaurant.
Yeah.
We served about 90 people. I kid you not, we had a 5-course meal, and it was from every course was from all these countries that I just named right now.
Oh, that had to be amazing.
It was great. It was amazing.
Wow.
And it was an eye-opening moment for everybody that come there. Right?
Yeah.
Folks say, but I can't believe that I'm eating this food that I will never have had, and this is what we want. We want you to be open to this. We want you to realize that, yes, you can have Ukrainian food like this. Yes, you can have Syrian food like this. Yes, you can have Zimbabwe food or Sudanese food like this or Guatemalan food like this. It's important that what you just said right now about Omaha being a foodie town, we have that diversity.
We do.
We do have, you know what I mean? And then also we don't also put those diversity or those diverse cuisine into like a pocket where we think it's just a street corner thing. It's just a mom and pop kind of thing. It's nothing that can evolve into something you can serve at the Hilton or at the Marriott or something.
Sure.
We got to change that mindset.
I love that.
So that's what we're trying to do at the House of Bah Foundation, focusing on 2 cuisines, West African and immigrant cuisine.
Roughly how many people are part of the foundation that help you do all of this?
That's a good question, Dave. It's just 2 of us. I'm here with the other person.
Oh, my goodness. So just 2 of you?
Yes, it's just 2 of us.
So language, you said you had somebody from Syria, somebody from Ukraine that don't speak the same language. I'm guessing you don't speak every language of all of the people that are coming in as well. So how do you navigate that?
So it's interesting, right? When we started this, the Immigrant Culinary Integration Program, we were wondering, how are we going to do this? What are we going to say in the classroom?
Yeah.
How do I say knife in this? And, I say knife in this language. But believe it or not, David, the language of food is very easy when you get together, you break bread together, you cook food, It was easier than we thought. But, of course, we are lucky now with one of our partners, Hello Neighbor.
Okay.
We have been introduced to some organizations that do translation.
Oh, okay.
And also, we are intentional about doing like a customized translation and then be able to change our curriculum, translate curriculum into the language of the people that are in our class.
Awesome.
Because it's about accessibility, right?
Sure.
It's about diversity. You got to see yourself in everything. So one of the particular things that we want to start doing is getting every piece of curriculum that we have, every piece of document that we have, translated into all those languages so people can actually see themselves in it because it's important, right? So that's what we do. And language doesn't become a barrier anymore.
I love it.
Because, one, people find it easy to bond, to express themselves. And I think I would even say that it's a therapy. We've seen things in the classroom that made people that have come here, and then since then we have two people that came out of our class find employment, and then a couple are baking and selling food now, become entrepreneur, and they told us that this made their settlement here easy.
Yeah,
because they find themselves back into something they love to do.
Yes,
and they're able to do that because David, the key thing is that they can't go to a metro right away.
Yeah.
They're the new American. They can't just go into apply at a casino, apply at Marriott. They cannot.
Yeah.
So somebody got to do something to get them there.
I think you had said too that you look to partner your students and the people that are part of the foundation with somebody in the restaurant hospitality industry that maybe
Yes.
can link up with them from a communication or skill perspective.
Yes, we do. So part of our program is just workforce training, workforce experience.
Yeah.
So besides just doing the capstone at the end of the program, we also give the opportunity to learn from people that are in the industry. So let's say you have a restaurant right now. We can contact you, be one of our partners. We can ask you, we do visit. And then we'll also we do a lot of pop-ups experience. And if somebody is also needing people as a staff, we bring them to just have those stage moment during those times so they can get acclimated, and they get also paid during that, right? So that's one of the important thing. So the program in itself is not just about teaching. It's not only about creating workforce, really workforce that is needed right now.
Yeah.
But it's also to put back people in the economy and then just creating that natural, organic way of people being employed, right, and supporting themselves. If I may add this, David, is that
Please.
the key important thing about this type of program is that if we don't do it, these people will just don't have this option. They will leave this passion they have to go work, take a job.
Yeah.
Right? But if we want to really, really make Omaha diverse, the food scenery diverse, just imagine right now somebody from Syria going through our program, getting a job at OPS. Imagine what they can bring as the culturally appropriate, culturally affirming cuisine that they can bring. Imagine what they can be able to introduce right there. Imagine if those people, 200 right now of graduates, go into hospitality field in Omaha and work.
Yeah.
And then the hospitality field embrace them. They allow them to just show them how to make the cultural food. Look at the impact in Omaha.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? Look at what we can achieve by just learning from each other.
Yeah.
And also look at these people that actually, instead of just doing the job, doing the career, a lot of them can create their own business and put back their skills in the community. Whether it's the food that they sell, whether it's the tax that they're going to be paying, whether it's the diversity that they're going to be offering, right? So that's the key thing. And the reason why I know this work is that I mentioned earlier the capstone that we had at the Voltaire, right? We also had an event at Jocelyn Castle last year.
Okay.
We offer international international breakfast. Instead of international cafe.
Awesome.
International
Yeah.
breakfast, right? We serve breakfast from 5 different countries at Jocelyn Castle. It was at the drive-through. People stopped and also tried that.
Oh, cool.
It was an amazing thing.
Yeah.
People all over the world, people all over Omaha came and tried the food. And there was a family that actually was visiting from Zimbabwe. They lived in Zimbabwe for so long.
Yeah.
How in the odd that would come to Omaha, Nebraska and see something that I'm familiar with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the beauty about it. It tells you that people are ready to accept it, people want it, but somebody got to funnel that.
Yes.
Somebody got to do the work of giving those new American an opportunity to be able to work in this field. Otherwise, they just won't be able to.
What I love about all this too is, first of all, I think Omaha in general, definitely within the last 5 or 10 years, the diversity of food is expanding. And I love that you're working to expand it further. And I'm also my heart is warm to hear when you did this event, at Jocelyn, that Omaha showed up and is there to try these different things as well, and embracing these new foods, because some people can be hesitant, like you said earlier, to get out of their lunchbox, if you will, and go trade with other people's lunchboxes and see what's in there. So I think that's really neat. So not only are you enriching the Omaha community, but also we were talking about Omaha being skipped over. A little bit too on recognition and things like that. But you're bringing Omaha on the map through your efforts, and with the Jacques Pepin Foundation sort of bringing national attention here, maybe shining a little bit more on the awesome things that Omaha does as well. So enriching us internally, and then also bringing, others from outside here. You had mentioned, too, that you are generating, new business opportunities for these folks and giving a a positive career direction to them, which then feeds back into the community, makes our community stronger. New business owners, which is awesome, and we do have such a great local food scene, and bringing that up, and also these folks then are putting their heart into their food. The food is going to taste better because of that. The restaurants, the catering businesses, the pop-ups are going to be more fun and provide much more interest than maybe some situation where there isn't as much heart in there. One thing that you said too, when we were talking about food being shared amongst people, and you were saying that when you had these two different people cooking and they realize, oh, wait a minute, I use that ingredient. Coming to mind comes something like a hand pie. So like a beef patty from Jamaica, or an empanada, or maybe even a pierogi, or almost everybody's got a samosa. Everybody's got a hand pie.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's like if everybody makes their own and then kind of looks at each other and goes, wait a minute, you've got one of those? I've got one of those. And then you're further bridging that gap. Food is I don't know that anything really has that same ability to connect with everyone. And I think that is so neat. Multiple layers of business, of regions, of all these things. And you're doing something that is so much bigger than just yourself, and making things much bigger. And I think that's wonderful.
You're right. It's bigger than me. And that's the reason why a lot of people ask me on my own business side, like, why aren't you opening a restaurant? Why aren't you doing more catering? I mean, I'll do well right now if I open a restaurant. People
Sure.
know me by now, a catering company, but it's bigger than me. I think for what I've seen in Omaha, how Omaha embrace, and there's a lot of new Americans that are coming in Omaha a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. As you also know, a lot of immigrants are more likely to open a small business, and a lot of entrepreneurs. But what I don't see in our hospitality field is people embracing that.
Yeah.
And I think, this is, I'm going to quote, one of my chefs that, I learned a lot from, Chef Peter Walsh from Metropolitan Community College. He says that African food is the new frontier or the last frontier. Because we embrace all the food, right? We can even go further to say immigrant food, new American food, and the new frontier or the last frontier.
Yeah.
Because we embrace all the food, but that's why we don't have that extensive thing right now. So it's important that we do something about it. We realize that we're missing out. We realize that there is a market for it because of all these people that are here right now.
Yeah.
And also there is the need of visibility. There is the pain point that I've lived myself.
Sure.
David. I've lived it several times, and then that's what really led me to do this.
Yeah.
I've seen people that are new American that have settled here. They have the money, don't get me wrong, because, they work in so many fields right now, but they will go to a hotel in town, they will say, we want to have a wedding, but we want to have this food from this country. And the hotel and restaurant will say, oh, sorry, we don't know how to make that. We don't know. We don't. Be like, well, listen, there's this restaurant in town, or this chef in town. Can you maybe get them as a consultant? They will say, no, that's not, we don't know how to do that. We are closing doors on other people's. They can't even have the wedding there, so they end up just going to churches or community houses to have their wedding over there. So this door is close to them. What is the diversity? What's accessibility, right? It's not that hard to do. If you just will allow yourself to open up, and then I understand, I've worked through hotel, like I told you, there's a liability issue. You worry that you can't bring anybody outside, but why don't you just have them a consultant?
Right.
I mean, just have them a consultant. They can and they can help you just do this event and then give these people what they want.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're trying to change, right? It's not. It's a matter of just giving everybody that opportunity, and it's also a matter of giving people that are coming here an opportunity to do this job. Because if you don't allow this cuisine to happen, they cannot have this job.
Yeah.
So it's a full circle kind of thing, So I've been through those things. That's why, like you say, it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
I see further down the road. I see 15 years from now. I don't want my daughter, to have the same thing. To be told at, X, I don't want to throw brand name, but X hotel that, sorry, you can't have your event right here because you cannot have your food right here.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
That is, absolutely. And, especially for, my goodness, the gravity or the magnification of, something like, a wedding or birth or birthday or any of these life events. Food is very tied to celebration, I think, in almost every culture. And to not be able to have, I guess maybe to throw something out there in the U.S. anyway, it's like, okay, it's your birthday, but you can't have a birthday cake.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean I can't have a birthday? Well, sorry, we're not going to let you do birthday cake. You can only have, I don't know, beef jerky. And so yeah, to make sure that the acceptance of different cuisines is out there, and I think by not only allowing new immigrants and existing populace to get these businesses started and get that cuisine out there, might help breed some familiarity with the food. And there's some folks that are scared, I guess, of trying new food. But guess what, folks? We all use the same ingredients, all the spices that grow on Earth and the animals that are here on Earth, and those things, we just maybe put them together in different quantities or different ways.
Exactly.
And also, I suppose, too, I know Chef Soji from Okra did say that when she first started trying to cook food in Omaha specifically, some of the spices and things that she needed weren't readily available, so she made a pathway for those things to happen. And so I think also as there are more restaurants needing things like this, maybe the supply lines become a little bit easier to get into. Have you encountered any challenges with getting ingredients, or are we in a good spot right now where you can get the things that you need?
We're in a good spot. I've never
Excellent.
had any issue with recreating
Yeah.
my great-grandmother spices here in
Love it.
Omaha, Nebraska. Because the beauty is that I go to Latin store, I go to Asian store,
Yeah.
I go to like Armenian store, Indian store. I get every bit of what I need,
Perfect.
and I come and recreate that right here.
That's perfect.
The yazzie that we use, and I recreate that. Yes, I used to be like, oh, somebody's going to Togo, okay, or why don't you get this shipped for me? Or somebody's coming back, oh, bring this with you.
Yeah.
But I've since, been
That's
able
great.
to get all those things from all these ethnic stores
Yeah.
to blend it together.
Yeah.
That's what shows you how Omaha is ready for it.
I
That,
love it.
we have that possibility here. Now, if you go to we also have a couple African stores right here that make it easy for you to be able to get things, And also one of the things that we've tried this to do in the past with a couple, partners that we have, City Sprout and No More Empty Pot also.
Oh, No More Empty Pots. Yeah.
They have access to connecting us to farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's possibility for us also to connect those farmers to the folks that we do a program with to grow some of the things. Like right now, if you go to today, even I was given some okra that was harvest from No More Empty Pot rooftop.
Oh, perfect.
So yes, and then there's also some gardens in Omaha where you can get some things. I know there's a community that are growing things that's specific to. I know there's Congolese community that are growing things specific to Congo, and there's some Karen community that are also doing the same thing. So there is a community garden around town where you can get something that's like ethnic, and then so you'll be able to. So Omaha is offering that opportunity. We just need to embrace it, and then also that's what education comes, David.
Mm-hmm.
That's what for me I decided that void has to be filled with somebody educating the community, educating the people. We want to do more. We want to be able to have classes where the community can come and learn. It's just two of us right now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's what's hard, We want to train the trainer, which is the professional chefs.
Yes.
We want to train the future chef, and we want to also train the community. But we don't have the capacity, the bandwidth right now to be able to do all that.
Sure.
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 So otherwise, that's the goal. I'm going to just also throw a quote right here that I recently learned, and then it's dear to me, which is that in the eyes of the stove, we're all equal. That's Jacques Pepin Foundation code, and that's Chef Pepin code. So yes, in the eyes of the stove, we're all equal. Mm-hmm. But we just got to show that, right? I say this everywhere, David, when I go. I was like, you could go to a third grader right now in OPS or in any school right now. You ask them what fried rice is, they will tell you. Mm-hmm. You ask them what taco is, they will tell. Most likely tell you. What is meatloaf is, they will tell you. What is mashed potato, they will tell you. But tell them what is jollof.
Mm-hmm.
What is okra, or what is something, they won't be able to tell you that.
Right.
Because they don't know that, because it hasn't make it there.
Right.
Right. There's a huge demand now for farm to school.
Yeah.
There's nothing more organic than cultural appropriate, cultural affirming cuisine that are scratch cooking, from farm and stuff like that. So we got to get to the point where if a third grader can know about diverse food, they're gonna grow differently.
Yeah.
They're gonna grow to accept.
Yes.
The culture of the other person too. Because through food, you're gonna know me.
Yes.
You said it. There's no other better connector.
Absolutely.
Right? There's no other better connector. We're grateful to have some support like the Jacques Pepin Foundation is great. We have like Conagra, Sherwood, the Wise family, and Lozier that also are supporting us. The American Farm Credit Services. We are just grateful that we paid their attention, right?
Yeah.
They are paying attention to what we're doing right now. And then we just want to be able to see more of that happening, see more support from the community, people hearing our voices, people hearing our mission, people hearing what we want to do. That's why we're grateful for you to invite us to come here and being able to share this message, because it's not just about us.
Yeah.
David, you said it very well. It's not about me. It's bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for me to go just open a restaurant right now. In fact, every time we have a graduation, they ask us, Chef, when are you going to open? I'm like, if I do that, I won't be here to help the next class.
Especially with a staff of 2.
Yes, you know what I mean? You'll be able to.
One of the things that I think is neat, that as your mission expands and helps immigrants that are here, and also helps those that aren't immigrants, in that you're exposing folks that may not have seen this cuisine to more opportunities. I think that's a wonderful thing as well, because I see things like, if I looked at the number of Indian restaurants that were available in Omaha 15 years ago, pales in comparison to where it's at now. And I think Indian food is one of the things that is starting to enter the more common conversation of our population. You had mentioned, if you get a bunch of third graders together, they know what a taco is. They know what fried rice is. They're probably going to start knowing, what a biryani or an Indian curry is.
Yes,
but we're not there yet with African food, and there's so much to bring in. And first of all, there's a little bit of expertise with South Omaha, but South Omaha has historically been an area where immigrants got their start in the past. Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned the, meat packing and things like that, and whether that was Polish immigrants or German immigrants or Czech, Mexican, South American. We have a lot of immigrants here, and you're working to provide opportunities that bring them into a passion and a career. And there's a shared experience that immigrants have in learning an entirely new country, city, state, etc. So I guess your thoughts on what that means, or how that shared experience of being an immigrant kind of ties in with your mission, or things that can help that experience be better.
David, it's funny you say that, because Omaha at times can be like the third largest place where immigrant comes, or sometimes the first. Like right now, with a lot of immigrant resettlement in Omaha. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, like 20 years from now, think about what the composition of a just community will be in Omaha, right?
Yeah.
Which is great, which makes us, that's the American melting pot, right?
Absolutely. And better and stronger, with more culture and you bet.
I've been here for almost 20 years now, after 20 years in June. And I will say that if I were to count the number of African restaurants that are here, it's probably about, I can count on
I was thinking, I had the same number of fingers on my hand. It was 5.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at the same time, also, we see it as just like it's something that's just like here, like at low level. We don't see anything like, it could be upscale. I'm not talking about casual dining or fine dining, right? It doesn't exist. It's not there. Mm-hmm. People don't connect the door with that, right? This year, I was lucky enough to cater for a couple of events. One at Harper Center at the Creighton University.
Oh, wonderful.
And the other at the Metropolitan Community College.
Excellent.
Both organizations allowed me to come and be a consultant on an event, because the folks was asking for culturally appropriate cuisine. So it was a hit, and then they realized that we need more of that, because this is what the people wanted, right? And then we were able to do something like that. So my goal for me, or our goal at the House of Bah Foundation, is to be able to, one, change the narrative about the conception that people have about this food, and also offer opportunity right now, like I say, 3 tiers. the people in the profession, right, be able to open their eyes, the future chefs, right, and also the community as well. So in 20 years, there's opportunity. And there's opportunity to enjoy those cultural from cuisine. There's opportunity to also prosper as a business person. Because as an immigrant, when you come here, you don't think you can make it. If you're working in, meat packing, that's all that you know.
Yeah. And you may have spent everything just to get here.
Just to get here.
Yeah.
Right? So, just like you said, that shared feeling, like, what am I going to do here, is what really connects us. But also that shared sense of, I need to belong. And I need to belong doesn't mean you just get, because we all go through the same thing. Whether you come here, rich or poor, as long as you are not an American woman born here, you're going to go through the same process. So, immigration and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, people that have skills in IT, people just want to be able to be a doctor, that they can do all that.
Yeah.
What about the people that want to work in the hospitality field?
Yeah.
What about the people that want to offer that? And most importantly, what's going to happen to that culture in the future? If we keep just living that way and then we don't do anything to correct this, we're going to just be in the same phase in 20 years now. David, you and I will just say, let's go to this wedding, this gathering at this place, and we'll say, sorry, but you can only have this food. That's why when I look around in Omaha, I was like, there's no way. With all the chefs that we have in Omaha, with all the culinary greatness that we have in Omaha, there's nothing that's helping immigrant refugees. And with the history that this continent, or this country actually has with Africa, folks still don't know anything about African food.
Yeah.
Or they view it as like it's a little, it's just like your mom and papa, like I say, something that you're not going to have a first course, second course, third course, or dessert. It's more like just not being to, fork and then that's it. It's got to change.
Yeah.
It's got to change. People have to see that for themselves. And also it's got to be able to be in places that people don't see it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not just for just me, for us here, it's also for the future generation.
Absolutely.
All these folks that you just see around here coming here together, what are we offering them in the future? How can they find themselves in the future? There's only one company that offer frozen African food in the U.S.
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
called AO. So AO Group is folks from Liberia in Chicago. When they were just researching this, there was no frozen African food in the whole United States.
Wow.
There is frozen food from Australia, but none.
Wow.
And it started just that. So that tells you how far we have come, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then how far we have to go to make that difference, right?
Yeah.
So we realized that this wasn't just like an African issue. That's why we realized that we got to also help all the immigrant and refugee.
Yeah.
Because, and when we say immigrant, anybody here as an asili, as a refugee, we all look at each other as an immigrant.
Yeah.
Because as long as you leave your country for whatever reason it can be to settle here, we relate to that as an immigrant.
Sure.
Right? Because,
shared experience.
for me, shared experience,
Yeah.
So, and that's why being able to come to this radio show, being able to have like those folks, like I say, I named earlier, sponsoring us, and the community partner that we have, the Voltaire, and Multiplication Community College to, giving us an ear and saying, okay, we understand what you want to do. And Jacques Pepin Foundation saying, you know what, you're on the path. I understand
Beautiful.
what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're all equal in the eyes of the stove. So it's a boost
Yeah.
to really get this going, to be able to have help everybody else to get this.
I don't know about the application process or the consideration process for the Jacques Pepin Foundation. Do you know how you got on their culinary radar?
Yes, because last year I was the only one doing this, and this year I have the amazing Joe behind, and she just like okay, listen, let's just look out here and then just see what we can. But when we applied, though, it wasn't with the conviction that we were going to be picked.
Sure,
right? You have hope. You think this is what it is. Yes, of course. Also, I've shared with Joe my experience or how Jacques Pepin, was an influence in my life and stuff like that. And then I think that's what Joe was like. Oh, they have this. Let's try. She's a great grandwriter. They read everything in the application. They felt like, you're right. And David, honestly, everybody that have a chance to listen to us a little bit or have a chance to see what about our mission or what we're trying to do, they always just take a pause and they're like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody doing that in the Midwest, at least for now.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody trying to just change that, right? You got to go to like on the East Coast to have like a Chef Pietam. You have Marcus Samuelson. You have Kwame.
Mm-hmm.
You go to like LA. You have like Murad Laoud, stuff like that. And then also there's other African American chefs that also right now, and the High on the Hog book, on the series on Netflix. That's opening up some folks' eyes with now understanding African cuisine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we don't have it in Omaha.
Yeah.
And
Except we do now because you're here.
Yeah.
I would love to see what happens when you take both adults and kids and put some Mexican rice, some Spanish rice next to some jollof rice and make them go analyze the differences, because they might find they're real close. So and just getting that in the collective consciousness that these are good things and good choices, and let's have them be here, is wonderful.
You're right. You will see that it's very similar. When I used to work in a hotel, I tell anybody from Latin America that it's the same. African food, the Latin food is very much the same. One of my buddy, he was gonna have a catering the other day, and then they wanted kind of like some French cuisine, but also wanted some infusion with the Indian food, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, Jimmy, what I'm gonna do? I'm like, why didn't you come here? I'm sure they're gonna relate what you're gonna cook. Yes, and they did relate to what I cook, because a curry that I'm gonna use, probably half the spice that I'm going to use is probably half the spice that they use. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty. That's exactly what makes the food just a unique food where we are going to find ourselves in it, right? So it's important that we understand that food is food. When I introduce, when I tell somebody from Africa, like, broccoli, just because we don't grow broccoli doesn't mean that you can have it. It's just similar to this that we have. And if you have cauliflower, that's what it is, But on a squash, it's vice versa, right? Or when I tell somebody right here that I explain them how dende is made, red a dish from Ghana, and how you utilize okra to make this, they're like, okay, you know what? I use gari, which is from cassava. They understand the beauty of it. They see that. And that's what really, I feel like every time people have had that food, they change their mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of pop-up at the Voltaire restaurant. One lady told me, you got my 90-year-old mom to eat fufu and liked it. I don't know how you did it, but it's just food is food,
Yeah.
So that's exactly the beauty of us allowing ourselves to see that, and like you said, projecting ourselves, or right there, what you pictured, adult and kid, realizing that we can bond around this, and then we can bond, and that's what we're doing this, to be able to foster that connection and make the food, normalize it. Normalize it so people can understand that it is okay food.
Yeah.
It's not just something that you see, it's on TikTok, you just want a sensation, have a minute fame, just take a picture of it. It's not that. I want you to get to know it and also know how nourishing this food is. Because really, African food is about scratch cooking. It's about using things fresh from the farm. It's about also healing. Curry, anything that's a spice blend, tell you, a kid, it's a medicine.
Yeah.
We all that food is a medicine. And there's this hot sauce that we call shito. A lot of people that have given this, you have tried this, you're like, oh my God, this warmed me up. I have a dear friend of mine that was going to do, she's a poet, she writes, and then she was going to have a show where she has to just be out there and then, recite a poem. She said, Jamil, I need something for my voice. I need to just for you to get me to clear my voice. All I did was you give a shito. And then she just came back like, oh my God, Jamil, it opened up my vocal cord. It just, so.
Yeah, or even like peppermint, clearing your senses, clearing your head, things like that. Obviously,
exactly.
For sure.
So that's what it is, I had this class with Nomam Tipa, and that was called Asonu, which was a perspective on pregnant lady and then breastfeeding from African side. And all I did was just sharing some of the recipe, some of the spices that ladies will use in Africa while they're pregnant and while they're breastfeeding to help them with healing, help them with the breastfeeding and stuff like that. Those are things that we used to have in this country also, like knowing, any Native American can relate to that, right? So that's what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to just bring those, I don't want to say marginalized cuisine, but unknown yet, cultural affirming cuisine to normalize it.
Yes.
Because I didn't see it going out there to eat. I didn't see it in the industry when I was working in the industry.
Yeah.
I tried to bring it, and then there was like a no, because either they don't know about it, they don't understand it. So,
Yeah.
like you said, David, I don't want it to be the same in 20 years.
Mentioning food as being a connection point for immigrants, for people in general, you had mentioned that I believe you lost your mom.
Yes.
I have as well. And one of the things that she used to make for me was split pea and ham soup. And another one was she would do like a over medium egg and just mix it with some buttered toast. And when I wasn't feeling well, she'd make that for me. You know, especially the split pea and ham is something that I won't be able to have again from her. I'm curious, from your perspective, from your mother, are there any dishes that you really tie to her, that remind you of her, that maybe give you a little bit of a connection, maybe even a little bit of time travel through food to connect with your mom?
Wow. To pinpoint one, I guess it depends on the weather. Like on a rainy day, I can think of something that she will do. But honestly, I don't think there's not a day that, even like in this moment, this presence,
Yes.
like opening or reading the email that the Jacques Pepin Foundation, going to MCC, graduating that day. There's no moment that I don't think about her, because I owe all that to her. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even know this, food. So whether I'm making, Italian food or French food or African food, really. But I think anytime that anybody just tastes my food, they go, oh my, wow. My first thought is always to my mom, because really, without her, I would not have done this, because my father passed away when I was 13. So I really, really grew up with my mom.
Yeah.
And then everything was just me and her.
Yeah.
So we had a great bond, I was here when she passed away in 2005. So as a newly arrived immigrant, I didn't even go back home. So, yeah, moment like this, whether I have a TV coverage, whether I do something and, I just like, oh, Mom, I wish you could be here. That's really, really what it is. So the simple answer is the spice, right? The spice, the curry is the mother of anything that we make. So if you put that into anything, you're just going to relate that to her.
Yeah.
I can only name one dish, but for me, it's a moment.
Yes.
It's for me, it's a moment, that I go, Mom, I know you're going to be proud right now.
I love that.
For this.
I love that. I have no doubt she would be exceedingly proud of you. And every time that somebody smiles at a dish that you make, or like you said, you're honored with an accolade or something along those lines, you're representing her well and representing her proud, and the foods and techniques and passion for food that you bring. And it has been so nice to get to know you more through this conversation. The complex mission that you have taken on and proceeded so well is a wonderful thing, and Omaha is lucky to have you and the House of Bah Foundation and your efforts that you really are growing lives, enriching our community, and I think that is fantastic. If people want to know what House of Bah is doing from a catering perspective, or the House of Bah Foundation is doing, enriching lives of immigrants and non-immigrants alike, I think, percentage-wise, most of us are immigrants here in some perspective. Just depends on how much time in there. But enriching the lives of others, how can people find out about what's going on?
So people can find out about our programming on our website. Right now, it is eatandtalkafrica.org, but very soon it's going to change to houseofbahfoundation.us.
Okay.
So we're on Facebook. You can just Google the name, and then you can find us. You can find the link to our website or find the link to our social media. And then people can also email us at eantaadmin@eatntalkafrica.org. So
Awesome.
that's eantaadmin@eatandtalkafrica.org. But we are in the midst of just pointing that domain, houseofbahfoundation.us, to all the websites.
Okay.
And then people can just find more information about it.
Perfect.
But even if you Google the name Chef Jamil, or if you Google House of Bah, it will get you to something on Google that will get you to the foundation side. And they can also call us. Our number 402-212-7149 if you just want information, because we cannot do this without the community support behind this. For folks that like the melting pot that we have,
Yes.
for folks that like to give immigrant an opportunity, for folks that like to eat,
Yes.
and for folks that like to see that diversity in the food offering, and also to be able to give opportunity for economic growth, opportunity for job for all those people that are here, and for folks that cultural affirming cuisine matters, for folks that think that all those cuisine need their place, right, into the world that we have right now. They can get involved by just, helping us raise money, helping us, like I said, we have a staff of 1.5, really, one staff and a half right now.
Yeah.
We want to be able to do more of this. We want to be able to get more of Nina's meals, all that out there. More people that can offer this cuisine and then, keep this going. So that's why we are proud. And we are grateful for all our sponsors, because for us, especially like I was telling Joe, I was like, 2020 when I was incorporating this, I thought I was just like, am I crazy? Like, what am I? Like, maybe, you better off go doing this. So many people have told me along the ride, go do something else. Just forget about this. I was like, why is it that I'm choosing to still go in here and doing this? What is it about this mission? Why am I doing this? Sitting here with you is a reminder of why I'm doing it. It's bigger than me. It's not just me. And I want to see a change.
You've summed it up very nicely. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you have a lot to do, especially with a staff of 1.5, as you said. I have learned so much. And so I just think it's a wonderful thing. Love that you're bringing people together with food. On this show, we often say, we connect with food, and this is precisely what you're doing. So, Chef Jamil Bah-Traore, thank you so much for spending time with me. And we're going to sign it off on the show. And as we say, until we eat again, stay hungry. Bye-bye.
Our show is recorded and produced by Saturday Omaha. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as email SaturdayOmaha@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and stay hungry.
Saturday Omaha.
Eat this.